All right, good people. We are live on YouTube and streaming everywhere where you can hear a podcast. It's the Mina's House Podcast, episode 225. I'm Mina, say what?
I'm Shayna B.
Garnett Briscoe.
And Dexter Stuckey should be joining us momentarily. So Father's Day is coming up. Juneteenth is coming up. Are y'all excited?
I mean, this Juneteenth is like new, so like it's still like shocking that they're giving people off. Like I'm still like, yeah, it's a little shock. We having something at our offices though for Juneteenth. It's called the Black Party. You know, they called the Juneteenth party the Black Party. Other than that, I mean, yeah, I'm still working, so it's a regular day for me.
I was just about to say I'm still working.
Yeah.
I thought you had off. Isn't it a federal holiday?
Yeah, but I'm working part-time on actual Juneteenth, and then next year we'll make sure we have the observed day off, but I didn't have it this year.
Wait, so what does this mean? So if you work on Juneteenth, do you get time and a half?
No.
Damn, it's a federal holiday.
We ain't making that kind of federal holiday. But you know, a lot of these jobs, some of them, certain holiday, there's only certain federal holidays where you get time and a half now.
I didn't know
that.
that.
Salary, so I wouldn't get time and a half anyway, but.
So we all have non-conventional jobs. We need Dexter to hop on here who has that good teaching job. So he could tell us what days what paid days does he have off?
Yeah, that's.
And now as you said it though, I probably will get a comp day because I'm working on the holiday.
Yeah, you need to fight for your rights. That's the whole point of this day, right?
I forgot about that.
This is now officially a federal holiday. You guys need to either pay me time and a half or give me an extra day off. I'm just saying. Did you see that Walmart was selling? Was selling those plates and those cups that said it's the freedom for me.
Oh no, it was Ben and Jerry's with the ice cream.
Ben and Jerry's with the ice cream. But I remember when they made this a federal holiday last year, Bath and Body Works had African candles. It's like everybody started commercializing, you know, this day. And now I feel like people are mad at it. But it's like they commercialize everything. Christmas, you know, Easter, everything is commercialized. So it's kind of like now you officially been inducted into the federal holiday pool.
I'm sorry, Walmart did have the ice cream. It was them that had the ice cream.
They had ice cream.
What flavor you said?
I think it was like red velvet or something like that.
Yeah, it was like red velvet. But people were, share and celebrate African American culture, emancipation, and enduring hope on the red velvet flavored ice cream.
So that's a red velvet is a black thing? That's crazy.
It's actually chocolate. Red velvet is chocolate that's colored red.
Yeah, but I was saying like that's like just geared towards us. That's not.
No, I think that was part of the controversy.
Yeah, that's a little. But I'll be honest with you, we complain about a lot. We was gonna complain if they gave us the right thing. So it didn't matter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look, my whole thing is, you know, when these companies are making these decisions, they need to have people that represent whatever, you know, holiday in the room, right? If you're gonna make something for St. Patrick's Day, make sure you have an Irish person in there. If you're gonna make something for Juneteenth, make sure you have a African American person in there. If you're gonna do something for Hispanic Fiesta or Hispanic Heritage Month, make sure there's a Latin in there. I mean, that's how you avoid these things. I was flabbergasted when they were like, "It's the freedom for me." I was like, "What?"
I think that was like their hashtag.
Who said that was okay?
Somebody was like, and then we're gonna say hashtag it's the freedom for me. Yes, that's
it. Shayna celebrated her birthday. Happy birthday, Shayna.
Happy birthday, Shayna.
Thank
We
you.
went to have a super expensive dinner.
Super expensive. It was amazing though. Let me tell you something about that dinner. I heated it up last night in the microwave and it still was banging.
Where did y'all go?
Steak 48.
We
Yes.
went to a
Okay.
steak
Yeah.
place.
And listen, I've been to a lot of steak places. I make steak. There is not too many steaks that you can actually overheat by accident in the microwave and the joint still be melting in your mouth. It don't happen all the time.
That's her favorite spot. I don't know. Sometimes they be treating people of color a little questionable. So
Listen, if the food good, we there. Come on now. Come on now. We still there.
Caribbean places, and I love all my Caribbean people. I have Jamaican in my family. Half my family Jamaican. Treat you the rudest, but people keep going because the food good. My girlfriend's theory is that what they say about the Caribbean restaurant, if it don't got attitude, I don't want it.
It's not a real Caribbean restaurant, huh?
That food not gonna be hitting.
I don't know why sometimes some of the best Spanish places, like their customer service is terrible. Like it takes them forever to bring you a menu, to get you a check. Like, girl, do you want me to walk out of here and not pay for the bill? Like, y'all taking forever to bring me this check.
They putting all their love into the food.
Right. None into customer service.
They gotta do better. You know what I noticed though? When you go to other countries, like their customer service is very different from ours.
Oh,
Like
yes.
here in America, we're very demanding. Like, I want you to greet me the second that I walk in. I want a menu the second that I sit down. I want drinks right away. You know, like I want you to ask me, should I bring you your check or not? You know, like in other countries, they're very like chill, you know, like even when I went to Greece, like it took them forever to come and give us a menu. Like, I'm hungry. Where's my menu? But I think it's just like a cultural thing. Same thing with some of the Latin countries. The customer service be terrible as hell, but the food be banging.
Food always good.
Yeah. So, all right, let's hop into what's in our feed. So I don't know if you guys read the Rolling Stone article. Megan Thee Stallion is covering Rolling Stone. I actually haven't read like the full interview. I kind of just read the excerpts, but I did see that she was talking about Kelsey. Remember we were talking about, you know, her relationship with Kelsey and after the shooting and what happened, you know, did they fight? Did they not fight? Whatever. Apparently from what I read in this Rolling Stone article, she said that after all this happened, you know, she had a conversation with Kelsey and found out that she had a conversation with Tori. And you know, apparently from this conversation with Tori offered her to help her with her business, basically give her money, right? And then Megan was like, why would you meet with him after what happened? You know, like, why, as my friend, why would you sit down with him? And then apparently, according to Megan, Kelsey was like, well, nobody was talking about it. He was the only one that reached out to talk about it. So, so I get that Megan feels the need to explain what her side of the story, but do you think this is wise? Is she saying too much considering the fact that there's literally an ongoing lawsuit? And it's crazy. In the last court date, Tori's lawyer actually brought up the fact that Megan's doing interviews. And you know, she did the Gayle King, DJ Academics was brought up. And you know, the attorney was like, how does he have access to police, you know, police statements? Who's leaking this information? Tori's people don't even want the discovery, which is the evidence. They don't even want to see the discovery because they don't want to be accused of leaking the information in the case. Do you think, considering what's going on, she should be doing these interviews?
I mean, I just find it a little odd. So has her friend Kelsey ever said anything publicly?
Not the way that we would like her.
Okay, so basically no. So basically
No,
no.
she has, but like, you know how people do stuff through Instagram and they say stuff without saying it.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, it's very cryptic
stuff.
Because
Yeah.
then she posted something later, like when people can't control you, they try to change how other people see you. Like she posted like a meme or something like that.
Yeah, I just think it's a little odd that yeah, it seems like she's just trying to get in front of something as she should, you know, in her case, like that's what you're supposed to do, right? Like if you're trying to win something, you're supposed to do everything that you got to do in order to win. You know, we don't know exactly, you know, what happened or the particulars, but I just find it odd that, you know, she's speaking about someone that no one really was like checking for in a sense where you know, like, yeah, people had questions like, well, what happened with the friend or this and that. The friend never came out and like made an actual statement, maybe some tweets here and there, but not an actual statement. So to come out and do that the same way that she came out and had her, you know, Gail King before the actual, you know, like the them going to court, it's just like, you know, she's getting in front of things, her and her legal team. And you know, that should I ain't gonna say it should make people, but I'm pretty sure it's going to make people sit there and look at it and be like, well, why are you doing that? Why are you creating the narrative instead of just letting the narrative happen? So what it seems like on the other side is they're kind of letting the narrative happen. So I didn't even know what you said, Mina, as far as like Tory's side just like being hands off with the discovery. And you know, we don't know if that's really true, but you know, they don't
I
even want
read
to
it
be
from the court documents.
no,
That
right,
that was
right.
like a that
Um,
happened.
but like yeah, like they don't even want to be you know considered where somebody could paint a narrative for them, you know. But on the other side, you know, they it seems like a narrative is being painted, whether it's right or wrong. But yeah, I'm just looking at it where it's like, that's a little, you know, you're jumping in front of everything before things can unfold, you know, instead of just letting it unfold for, you know, whatever reason. So, man, I don't know if it's right or wrong. I just look at it where it's like, okay, like now you're making me interested to hear the other side actually speak because you're trying to speak for everybody.
Yeah, I guess in this case, and I understand that Tori, of course, as a defense lawyer, you're going to be frustrated because she already has a bigger spotlight than Tori, I would say. But I mean, if the judge and the prosecution hasn't told her she can't speak as a victim, and they don't feel like there's anything that she can say that's damaging to the trial or the jury pool, because I would assume again it is a high profile case that if the judge wanted to say it, or again the prosecution said, "Hey, Megan, this will hurt our case," they would have told her. And of course, the defense is going to be anything that makes the defense look worse. They're going to be like, "Yeah, how could this happen?" And no, like, can we stop and make a stop? Um, I guess the only thing is like maybe she was. I mean, again, we're still talking about a young woman, and this has, gone on for some time. And because she didn't really speak up at first, maybe she's so, frustrated that that's why a lot of it is coming out. Again, I guess we can just only go on what the council in this case is advising or not advising her to do. And it doesn't seem like so far they've told her, like, you can't talk or you shouldn't talk. Um, Again, whether morally or I guess socially we think it's okay. I mean, I don't know. She's had like two interviews. I guess if it got to like three and four and five, then I might be like, all right, man, like, okay, before the trial even happens. And again, we already know with this Kelsey situation, like, this was her friend. So even more than maybe Tori, like, even when he did, and obviously if he allegedly, he physically hurt her, you're more emotionally hurt by a person that's supposed to be your best friend. So maybe that's one of those things like you've been dying to get out, and again, maybe even her team was like, no, 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 don't do it right now because we got this coming up, and we got this, and we don't want it to be a distraction. Who knows? I don't know.
I think I don't think she should be doing interviews like this. I mean, I get that she wants to tell her side, but I just think it opens up a can of worms. If you don't want him to speak on it, then you shouldn't be allowed to speak on it. And am no means on the Tory Lane side. You guys know that. But I do think that it's kind of like he was saying his side for a long time and she wasn't saying anything, right? And then the judge put a gag order on him, so now he can't speak on it, right? But now she's speaking on it. So I just think this needs to be a little fair, he's gotten his piece. The judge put a gag order on him. Now she's out here letting her, her story be heard. Now the judge needs to control this cuz it's creating this circus. at this point. I feel like all these leaks and the fact that DJ Academics does have access to, you know, police reports, and it's creating a circus that I'm pretty sure is going to leak into the court. And I really want Megan to get justice in this situation. And I don't know if creating a media circus is going to help her get justice. I don't know. I don't know. I think it creates more drama, you know?
I think that's part of the age that we're in, though, as far as judging somebody by the court of of the court of
Public
public.
opinion.
Yeah. So like I think that's like, things that not just her, but other people do it. Other people have done it where before you even get to court, you're already painting a narrative of what it should be or what it's going to be like. So, and it's not, like I said, it's not to say that anybody's right or wrong or, who's, guilty or not guilty, but those are things that can help sway, the judgment of certain things later on,
Yeah, but what I've learned is people don't make judgments based on facts. They make judgments based on, do I like you or not? Look at Amber Heard. It's like some people don't even know the facts of the case, and they just dislike her because they like Johnny Depp. That I don't think the average person is looking into the complete facts of the case. Some people just hate Megan the Stallion, so they're automatically gonna side with Tory Lanez. That's the problem when you start letting the public decide things, because they're not sitting there looking at all the evidence. They're not there listening to all the testimony. So they're making judgments based on ideas that they already have about the person. Maybe you're a big Johnny Depp fan, so you're automatically going to be on his side. It doesn't matter what the case says. Maybe you hate Megan. You're automatically going to be on Tory's side because you don't just dislike Megan. You don't like that she's out here twerking and popping it, and the kind of music she's making. You don't like it. Like you think she's man hating or whatever. People put that into their decision making. So that's where it becomes a slippery slope, because you don't want that in my opinion, carrying over into the actual case, because those things are not based on facts. They're based on personal opinions of people. Oh, she was lying because she took 5 seconds to answer the question. It's like you get stuff like that. Like, what? She couldn't process the question just because it took her 5 seconds. She was lying. You get stuff like that.
That's why you supposed to have a good defense and a good prosecution that can pick a good jury. Because technically, you're never going to find a jury in America that ain't biased about something, whether it is on a rape trial or a murder trial or this. And you really have to go through to see, like, am I going to find people that can look at the facts that are presented in this case and really base it off of that.
Yeah.
But again, that's why jury selection takes so freaking long. Because we all have had something, or like you said, when it comes to celebrities, are going to feel one way or another, even if you've never heard of them, even if you you could find a juror that might just be like, oh, I don't like rappers, and they're both rappers. Like, you have all these other things, and that's why it's really going to be on them. And the one thing I was going to say about the judge gagging her, then that's what Tory's defense too. Like, bruh, what's up with your defense team? Why they not going to the judge, putting in a motion for her to be good gagged? You might need to look at your lawyers. Who you got?
I mean, I want Megan to tell her side of the story, but I don't know if that's going to help this case. That's all I'm getting to here. Like, if Tory does not get penalized for this, people are going to be like, look, he ain't do it. They're not going to be like, oh, this is a result of our failed judicial system, or maybe not enough evidence. Like, they're going to be like, look, he ain't do it. He didn't get found guilty. It's funny how people choose what they want to believe when it comes to the judicial system, right? Like, oh, if you get found guilty, oh, the judicial system is wrong, it's flawed, it's corrupt. But if you don't, oh, well, they ain't find the person guilty, so he must have not did it. Like, no, what happened to the judicial system is flawed and corrupt. Right. It's like people use that to serve their narrative whenever whenever it suits him.
Which is crazy because, like you said, sometimes you'll hear people say, it's not even that I didn't believe X didn't do it. It's just they didn't present sufficient evidence for us, But I was going to say, too, the one thing I guess her getting off her chest about Kelsey, you really didn't have to tell us the details. We already figured it had to be something really. I mean, again, in the court of public opinion, she was supposed to be your best friend. We always saw her with you. And then all of a sudden, again, at first we were probably as the public thinking she's silent because you're silent. She's not necessarily coming forward because that's y'all all on one accord. But you ain't had to tell us, Megan. We already knew it was a messed up situation.
Yeah, well, people are saying now that, I don't know if you guys saw the police report that came out that DJ Academics was reading, but apparently the police report state there's different accounts because there's different people, but it says 2 women were fighting and 2 men were fighting as well. So then the narrative came of, well, Megan was fighting, Kelsey. So maybe she shot her. You know what I'm saying? Like, it opened up these can of worms of like, that's why they're not talking. So this is Megan literally like counteracting that, saying, no, we're not talking because after he shot me, she went and met with him, and he promised to help her, give her money for her business or whatever. And I haven't talked to her since.
I think it's funny that she said, in her own words, she told me, I'm like,
right. So it's like, no, we're not talking because we were scrapping over him. We're not talking because she met with him after she saw him shoot me. That's her, side of the story. We'll see. I think this is creating a mess. I don't know how this is going to turn out in court. Speaking of messy, Wendy Williams, the show is coming to an end. This was so confusing. I thought she was coming back to the show because remember, I don't know if you guys saw that video that said she was coming back to the show, but they just ended it. They announced this week, the last show's on Friday. She's not going to be on the show. We're going to do like a video montage saying goodbye. I'm not the biggest Wendy Williams fan, but this is real shady.
That's super shady. Like, we're gonna do a video montage of this top whatever show. Not even, and I guess clearly they obviously have been in legal battles, which is why they can't have her on, because she did say she was coming back to her show. But
you think there's a legal issue?
Yeah,
Wow.
I think it created a thing for, because I was always confused when they said that Sherri Shepherd was going to take over the Wendy Williams show. To me, it wasn't fair to Wendy or to Sherri. It was like super rude to say this woman is going to take over this other woman's show under her name. So I see that they're saying, okay, in the new time slot, it'll be Sherri. And there's no offense, I don't really want to watch Sherri Shepherd, but I felt like that's kind of only fair to both of them, regardless of whether it's fair to Wendy or not that she doesn't have a show. It sounds like just production wise, there were a lot of questionable things happening, because why would you, that would be like, Mina, you want to take over Wendy Williams show, and you're like, every day,
well, my name ain't Wendy,
it's your show, but you saying I'm Mina on the Wendy Williams show. Like, no, like, if you feel like I've made it here, let this be my show.
Right.
Yeah, I can agree with you. I didn't really think about it like that. I just looked at it as something had to be happening behind the scenes to have somebody, like, first of all, to announce it and just have it abrupt and be like, oh, well, it's ending Friday, and yeah, she's not going to be here either. So, that lets you know that there's some real arguments behind the scenes of like what's happening, and the fact that, because usually you lay out the red carpet for somebody, that has a career like Wendy. You make sure that everything goes smooth. You make the last show the biggest show, or at least attempt to, instead of kind of just like wanting to end it and like just be done with it, because that's what it seems like, right? And then, yeah, to go back to your point too, Shana, yeah, it's very unfair to have somebody, hey, yeah, well, he's going to fill in as Michael Jordan. And it's like, he's not Michael Jordan, like, at all. Like, can you imagine that? Like, if Ben Simmons ran out there as Michael Jordan, ain't nobody having that. So yeah, I mean, the fact that
Why would you say Ben Simmons at all people?
Because
like not even close.
I want to watch a Sherri, but you
right.
If you would have said LeBron, I would have been like, okay. But
well, no,
Ben Simmons?
No, yeah, Ben Simmons. That's it. Ben Simmons ran out there. It's like, nah. But yeah, just for somebody that just had, that illustrious career on radio, off radio, TV, to kind of have it end just like abruptly after everything, she's done. Yeah, and networks really don't be caring. That's kind of like, if you see what it is, like they don't care. And going back to Shane's point too, the reason why they may be in legal battle is to figure out who actually owns that name, right? Because if the network actually owns that name, then they can put anybody in there or feel like they
That's a
can,
great point.
you know. But like if
Okay, with your legalese,
I'm
Garnett.
I'm out here reading contracts every day. I got to.
You're
But
right. Who owns the name? Who
Yeah.
owns the
so
show?
yeah, so that would change a lot, you know. But I mean, to not put somebody in that position, I'm happy for that, because at the end of the day, no one deserves that. Wendy and whoever else steps up in that position, it's just a little weird that, she doesn't get the red carpet and get that one last moment for the rest of her fans, to enjoy that. So
This whole situation has been weird because when they first made the announcement, they made it seem like she was coming back, like she was sick, she was going to work on her health and then come back. She never came back. And then like she never came back, but then she said, "I'm coming back." So she said, "I'm coming back," and we're like, "Okay." And then all of a sudden they're like, "Show's canceled." So I just think after 13 seasons is just disrespectful for, so like, I guess things are not going well. And I get why she's not a part of it. She's probably like, "No, you guys are doing me dirty. I'm not gonna come up to the show and smile and be happy. Like, no,
yeah,
you guys are doing me dirty." But it does seem shady. So I'll tell you one thing. This is not the end of Wendy. Okay. I'll tell you that.
should be back
Okay.
at something.
So I actually need to pull up some stuff because I was educated this week. Um and as Lizzo was, regarding an offensive word. So she dropped a song called Girls, and in the Girls she says spaz, right? And that's a word we've all used. I'm a spaz out, I'm spazzing, it's a word. It's been used in plenty of songs. But someone called her out saying that the word is offensive. Apparently this person has cerebral palsy, and part of their disease is that they spaz, so this person said that this was, offensive, derogatory. This person was like, "It's 2022, you should know this." I even learned a new word. It's called it's up here, an ableist slur. I never knew spaz was offensive. Um, I never heard of an ableist slur. This is definitely like a teaching moment for me, as it was for Lizzo. But I think it's fire that she literally changed the lyric in her song to be sensitive to this person, and this person being offended by this word. But then people wanted to cancel her. Is that too far?
Too far that she had to change the words of the song. I'm sorry. When I first read it and read her apology, I'm like, oh my God, what did she say? And then when they kept saying spaz, I was like, does it mean something else now? And then when I read exactly what I thought in that, I was like, oh, okay, I'm confused. So I didn't hear this part about the cerebral palsy person. And again, I am sorry that you have that, but I'm sure that there's more offensive stuff that happens on every TV show, every Jimmy Kimmel skit or you understand what I'm saying? Like, how are we in this world where you can't say nothing? Like, you can't say anything anymore.
That
It's
was
just too
kind of what
much.
took me away because I've been hearing this word for a long time, and I've never heard of it being, you know, um, being offensive. But according to this, spastic, just so we're educated, spastic is a form of muscular weakness, typically of cerebral palsy. For her to say I'm a spaz,
But I was going to say that is weird. Like when we say I'm a spaz out, it means like I'm about to lose it. So
right,
what I'm saying, like people have said it, and again, I'm not
right.
saying like just because people say it's okay, but again, like it's a reach. It's just a reach. Okay, it's just I don't know. Again, I feel bad for anyone that has it. I have, my masseuse at Hannah Stone who has it. He's amazing. But at the end of the day, like, are we just not going to say anything about anyone anymore? Because anything could be someone can deem offensive, and it's a thing. Like for her to be canceled over something that, again, none of us clearly even paid attention to, it's just ridiculous to me.
I mean, it didn't get that far where she was canceled. I
No,
think
but for
there
it
were
to even be in a
rumblings
conversation.
of like, but it's like, no, she changed the lyric. She was responsive to the person's needs or the person's emotions, which I think is super important. But I do think that it was like, it's not to discredit anybody who felt offended by that, but it's more so like we just didn't know, and this is it, and it's been it's been used in vernacular or different songs, and it's like I've never heard this in my life, and when I saw like, oh, it's 2022, you should know better or something like that, I was like, what?
Point, which is why I was confused.
Like we're supposed to know everything that's offensive to every single person because it's 2022. I think we're all learning as we go.
But to your point, so when I Googled it at first, it like Google will show you like stuff that people Googled. Somebody put, is cripple a slur? Apparently cripple is a slur too.
What?
Said it was a word, but now it's a slur.
Wow.
So, man, so I just looked at like, so I mean,
you had to Google it yourself too, because I wanted to say it the right way. I don't want to say it wrong.
Partially, I mean, I guess I can give her some kudos, right, for being, adhering to someone else's feelings, right? I get it, understand it. It is a slippery slope, because everybody complains about everything. Hold on, the dog getting lit. She wanted her moment.
She's over here chewing on her bone, making all this noise. But go ahead, my dog.
But no, yeah. So it's like, a part of me, okay, a small part, is like I could see you adhering to this. For her outcry, it could have offended her and the whole community. I get it, but it does a slippery slope. So it's like, I mean, are those same people going to go back to other lyrics where people use spaz? Are they going to continue to move forward where anybody use spaz? Like I remember Kanye being on the record, he's screaming out, I'm about to spaz out. Like who contacted him about that and be like, hey, that is a slur. That is right. That's not to say who's right or wrong, but like you kind of got to keep the same energy all across the board now, and she ended up changing spaz to hold me back. Now it's like, it sounds better, but if you know what that person meant, like the meaning is still the same. Like I get it, but it's still there. Like, come on. Like, what are we really talking about? Like I feel like, they're maybe going after her because they think that they can for some reason. They think that, she was going to change a lyric or she is going to be more submissive to what's going around and more sensitive. And I get that too, because she also looks for sensitivity. And that's maybe why she even changed the word, because she was online, getting ridiculed and quote unquote, bullied in a sense. So, I mean, I can see it from both angles. It's just, so where do we go from here? Like, is that same cerebral palsy community, which I respect, that's fine. Like, are you going to hold everybody else to that standard after this, even before this? Like I said, one of the biggest rap artists in the last decade is on record screaming he's about to spaz out in a hit record.
Right.
Who checked him?
I just think in general, something like this is very like almost like niche, because I don't even know anyone with cerebral palsy, so it's like I think you have to really like be mindful that you have to educate people sometimes when trying to make people more aware of what you're going through. I mean, everybody hasn't been exposed to someone with cerebral palsy, so they might not know. And again, not being exposed is not an excuse, right? Because if this was a racial thing, we'll be like, well, how you not gonna know, but my whole thing is sometimes you just need to like educate people and do it from that space instead of how dare you, because it was like this wasn't her intentionally trying to offend people. She just didn't know. And a lot of us didn't know. This was a teachable moment for me. I've never used the word spaz now. I don't want to get I don't want to get canceled. So
Well,
Shayna's
cancel me right on out. It's like, I'm just kidding. I'm just saying, like, and to Garnett, to your point, it's definitely a slippery slope. Even for Lizzo, like, I do commend her. It's dope that she did that, but it's like now every single thing she does is going to be critiqued. So it's like when she doesn't bend for the next thing, then are people going to try to cancel her? Like, well, you did it before. You changed the whole song. Why can't you do it now? So it's like, gosh, like, it's a very hard place to be, I think, as a person that does anything publicly these days. Because again, you're at a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, but that's a good point, because if you change the lyric for this, the next time someone is offended, they're gonna want the same treatment. And I think Lizzo did the right thing, because again, this is a woman who's ridiculed online. To your point, Shayna, she's fat shamed and all of that. She's so she wouldn't want to make someone else feel the same way with her music. But yeah, I mean, is she gonna change everything that pisses people off? How about if someone said the word bitch? She in a new song, she says the word bitch. How about if someone says this offended me? I don't want to be called a bitch. You're right.
I was literally about to say that. Like, who's complaining about the word nigga? Like,
I was thinking that when they started saying this about spaz, like, well, there's a lot of people and Black people that don't like the use of the word. We ain't out here taking out every song. And again, everybody can be offended by something. So I'm not saying that cerebral palsy, isn't a disability and those things. And again, but I think you said this early, Garnett. She wasn't making fun of the disability, which I think that person did understand that, even though they said it was offensive. She wasn't doing it to like poke fun at anyone. It was more about a feeling. But I think, Mina, you just said it, like, everybody can be offended by something. My mother is offended by the word sweetie. Again, doesn't bother me, but you say sweetie, I'm already like, oh.
Oh, like if someone calls her sweetie, she feels like it is a little condescending.
She feels like it's very patronizing. But my point is that, like, there is always going to be somebody that's offended by something or doesn't feel like something is right. And again, I just think for our creatives, that we put them so much in a box. The only person who just basically said F the box is Dave Chappelle.
Well, look what happened. He got shot. So I'm just saying. He got shot, right? Or someone tried to shoot him.
Somebody tried.
Right.
Right.
Right. Someone was so offended by what he said, they tried to shoot him. This is the kind of world we live in. My whole thing is use everything as a teachable moment, and try to come. We can't grow if you aren't teaching us, and teaching people. You get more bees with honey than you do vinegar. Okay. All right. So speaking of creatives, what?
I'm sorry, because I had to look up the ableist term, and it says signs that somebody is an ableist.
Okay.
And it says when they use disability only parking or seats and they know they don't need them. When they're patronizing the struggles and bravery of disabled people, when they are asking unsolicited personal questions. I'm sorry, let's move on.
I didn't even know what that was.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, so how's asking unsolicited personal questions offensive? Okay, we're gonna move on.
Maybe just prying into the disability.
I guess they probably
like maybe someone's not ready to talk about it or isn't comfortable talking about it.
Yeah.
But it's like, how am I supposed to learn? Okay, let's leave it.
Yeah, that's what I said. Let's just, before we offend somebody.
Right. Well, I remember when I learned from someone who's gay that the F word was offensive. I don't say the F word. But now when people say it, I'm like, you can't say that. But I remember there was a point where people would say the F word and it didn't really even pertain to someone being gay. It was just part of the vernacular. Like, you're acting like this.
Wait, I just want to bring to the attention. Do you know they're saying that this became more forefront of the ableists because it was Donald Trump that made fun in a speech of a person with disabilities. And that's what kind of brought this to the forefront.
Thanks, Donald Trump.
Thank you, Trump. Another thing to thank you.
I did think that was messed up in general. You
It
know,
was.
like
It was. No.
it was
That
terrible. And
was
people
meant to
do it
be
in real
offensive.
life. They'll be like, yeah, 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 yeah. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
that
don't
was
do
when
that.
a person is meaning to definitely be offensive.
Don't do that. Don't, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. All right. So speaking of creatives and creatives being able to be creative, we've been talking about song lyrics being used in the court of law. This is a big thing right now. Jay-Z is trying to, you know, even before this Young Thug and Gunna stuff happened, Jay-Z was trying to kind of block this from happening. And this YSL Rico case really has blown this out of proportion. So Kevin Liles, who's a music executive that actually testified for Young Thug, started a petition on change.org called Protect Black Art. And now we have a lot of artists saying this: protect Black art, protect Black art. Meek Mill said it recently at a concert, you know. Um, Gunna wrote a letter on his birthday from jail saying we need to protect Black art. So basically, what this is the petition says that you know, Black artistry and rappers are under fire because they're not going to be able to freely create music because they're going to be scared of retaliation or people using those lyrics against them, you know, when those lyrics are the reason why a lot of them are feeding their families. You know, the songs that they're creating, you know, this is what has helped them advance in their careers, and that these things should not be used against them. And it's an attack on Black artists and Black art because they can't freely create. This is a change.org petition at this point. Do you think this is going to change anything court wise? And I see a theme with this particular podcast: public opinion versus what's happening in court. You know, this is one of the same things, you know. um do you think this is going to change anything of what's going on, particularly with that case?
Yeah, I don't think so. You know, we spoke about this previously. What I could say to that is just like, well, what is Black art? Like, who's out here defining what Black art is? And if you think some of those lyrics is Black art, and you can stand on that and be proud of that, me and you need to have a conversation. Like half of the lyrics that they're talking about, why are you proud of that? Like, why does this have to be considered Black art? How come it just can't be your lyrics? Like, don't give it that on everybody. That's not how I live my life. That's one. Two, I'll say that you know, I don't think they're attacking. Once again, they're not attacking J. Cole. Where's J. Cole at in court? Where's Kendrick Lamar in court? Where's who else do you want to? Where's Nas in court? Where's Jay Z? They're attacking the people that are allegedly outside living a certain lifestyle and then going inside of this booth and saying what they did outside. Like, the lyrics are there, it's coming second. It's secondary. It's not coming first. No one's getting arrested because of a lyric. Like, you're getting
You have
arrested.
to have the evidence to support it.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, if you're, and you know, I don't know this situation completely, right? But just from overhearing certain things, like, it doesn't seem like Young Thug is super innocent, right? When allegedly he rented a car that was used to do a hit. Yeah, he may not have been there. He may have even gave somebody money to go do it or used his name and may not knew. But that seems pretty crazy. You know, like, that just seems like, well, dang, bro, like, yeah, I should question you. You know, so I mean, like, once again, it's like, well, one, what is Black art? Why does it have to be defined as these heinous lyrics that's, you know, just killing people? That's basically drill music. Like, why are y'all defending drill music? Why are y'all? Where's the R&B at? Is that Black art? The R&B artists, they're not getting arrested. You know, you don't see Genuine getting arrested for his lyrics. You get what I'm saying? It's not happening. So, I mean, it's just, I understand them getting picked on in certain situations, but that's because they also carry a certain type of stereotype too. where, you know, when weed was super illegal a few years back, and if all you rap about is weed and you show this weed on the internet, and you know, yeah, I got a pound of this and a pound of that, and you post the shows that you're going to be at, yeah, cops are bored, bro. Yes, they are going to kind of target you, but damn, it's because it's a 90% chance you're going to have that weed that you was talking about that we are looking for. Why not? Why not show up on your tour bus and check everything? So, you know, we talked about this before. If you are actually doing these things, you're better off rapping the complete opposite. You should portray the complete opposite. You know, like it doesn't make sense. You're self snitching. Everybody got a problem with snitches, but you doing it to yourself. Like if you're skipping class in high school, are you walking around the school and be like, yeah, you know, I'm out here skipping class, bro? Like you screaming it to the top of your lungs. No, because you know it's going to end up in detention or suspension. Why would you do that? You're trying to skip class. You're going to act like if someone walks past, you're going to act like you're going to the bathroom. Like you're not just going to sit there and, you know, be taken to the office. That's the whole point, is to get away with the things that you're doing, not to scream it at the top of your lungs. But that's just a part of our culture of like, man, it's just, I don't know. It's not something to be proud of. And, you know, that's a petition I won't be signing. I'm not standing behind that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you in that. I didn't even think about it that way. But to your point, it's like, so who defines what is black art? And again, I think that the other issue that I even have with that is who define that rap or rap lyrics is black art, and then that it's only black. You know, like, so I get why and what Kevin Miles and everybody else is coming from, but talking about being offensive, it's a little offensive. And I guess, you know, they might try to say, oh, well, the roots of rap and things like that. But again, if we're now at this point in 2022, we're talking about being inclusive, and you have people like a Jack Harlow and everything. So is he going to be okay with saying whatever he needs to say? But you know what I mean? Like, so then where, if you get this done, then where does that line go in defining what black art is and who classifies for black art? Like, it's just so can Fat Joe not be associated with this? Like, you know, I'm like confused just on that. And I do agree that, I'm sorry, if you are artistic or creative enough to put your crimes in a song, and that's all you can put to that song or bring to your craft, there's a little bit of a problem. And we know, yes, for rap, like people talk about, but I listened to Nas's latest album. He may have talked about, you know, crack babies or things that he used to do, but I hear a whole album and I don't hear him talking about going to killing nobody or doing a hit with anyone. So it's like, why are we defining that that's the only way that this genre can exist? If it's talking about killings and murders and things like that, they're not coming at you because you, again, like Mina said earlier, you call somebody a bitch or you talk about sleeping with someone. They're not even, well, they are in this case coming at you about the drugs, because again, you're actively talking about like moving weight, and you ain't talking about it in a sense like you're talking about deals that are being done. So I don't feel bad for people that would put their, again, if I posted on Facebook right now that I just committed a murder, although that I'm supposed to have freedom of speech, I am putting out there what I've done. I can't be mad if somebody comes back and the police come knocking on my door because I put that out there. That, yes, that's my free speech, but I put it out there to be scrutinized, to be, for anything to come out of it, in a sense.
I mean, I think this petition is, you know, something created out of just, this is unfair that you're using rap lyrics, but you know, if there wasn't evidence, you wouldn't be able to pull the lyrics. So there's that part. I mean, I don't know how this trial is going to play out, but in my brain, they have the evidence of you did X, Y, and Z, and then you also admitted to it in this song. So kind of like as a supporting number to what was done primarily. Um but you have to have the evidence.
Right.
That's the thing.
Even if a crime happened in an area, again, say I say on Facebook, like, oh, I'm at Mina's house, or I tag it with that location at that time, and then something happens and they come back and they're like, well, weren't you at Mina's house at this time? And I try to be like, no, or that shouldn't be used against me. Well, that's the supporting evidence because we know you were here, we know you did this, and then you line that up for us. Like that is to your point. It's not maybe but it's the supporting evidence that literally goes in line with this thing that happens, and we wouldn't have it if you didn't put it there.
I think the fear is though that they're just gonna start taking random lyrics and building cases off of just music, which is it's scary. That's a slippery slope. You don't want them doing that. You know, oh well, you said this in the song, so it must be true. So we're gonna, we're gonna press charges, or I think that is what the fear is, which I think you do have to protect against that, but I get the petition, but I'm like, if they have the evidence
Yeah.
to support it, I don't think this petition is gonna do much.
That's the thing is like, we're focused on the lyrics. They don't just have lyrics. And I get the lyrics.
But that's what I think people think.
The
It's
headlines,
just
right.
they're using lyrics,
Again,
we have to see how this plays out and how they use the lyrics,
right.
but I'm sure they have supporting evidence.
This for how many years?
Wait, what?
That prosecutor said they've been investigating them for how many years? Like, and again, the media is stuck on the lyrics, but they ain't that for the fear that like they're going to come after you. Again, you have to have done other things that they have in evidence to be able to even come after you. And they definitely ain't going to dedicate. Listen, the police in Michigan said they're not coming for life-threatening crimes because gas is too high. So what we know is they're definitely not dedicating like full teams in every city to just listen to lyrics for no reason, just because you're a popular rapper or something like that.
So here's the scary part about this, not so much for Young Thug, but I think for Gunna, right? Because the only thing that they've charged Gunna with is the RICO charge, right? Mm-hmm. So say Gunna did nothing, just for being associated with Young Thug and being a part of the collective and being on these songs, that said X, Y, and Z, he can go to jail because it's a RICO, and you can go to jail for things that other people in your group did. I think that's the scary part about that. Like he can't be like, oh no, we're on the same label. It doesn't matter. Like, oh no, look, you're on this song with him. You're on this song with him where he's saying X, Y, and Z, and then you said X, Y, and Z. So that means you must have known what happened over here. That's what I think the slippery slope is when it comes to particularly Gunna.
And Mina, to touch on your point, so maybe that's what you start the petition about. Like let's focus on hard things, right? Like they can still have this case without the lyrics. They have phone evidence, text messages, video, like not video, phone recordings, like of people saying stuff. They don't need the lyrics. The lyrics is just
icing. They have eyewitnesses. They have yeah.
They're right. I'm pretty sure they have people actually saying real statements of what happened and what occurred.
No, they do, because part of when they tried to get bond, when Young Thug and Gunna tried to get bond, particularly with Young Thug, the prosecutor was like, we can't let him out because we're scared that he's gonna intimidate witnesses. There's already witnesses being threatened, like their life being threatened because of their association with this case. And I was like, damn, they got witnesses too. They got everything.
Yeah, I just think they're focusing kind of on the wrong thing. Like, notice that they're petitioning for Black art. They're not petitioning saying, hey, these guys are innocent. Like, you feel me? It's like they're not saying that. They may agree that they may even be guilty, but you're trying to protect this little thing of yours. How about you petition about changing lyrics for the culture? How about you petition on what's cool and what's not? Somebody like Jay-Z, like he's, not to say that he can influence everybody, but he's speaking about stuff in the past tense. He's moving a certain way, and he does try to make things cool for the younger generation. But it's like, start a petition more so about that, about how drill music isn't the way to go. Instead of signing these young artists that create this drill music, and that they have real beef in the streets and they're really killing people, and then you give them $1 million knowing that they really not about to change. They about to go back to the hood, that $1 million, and create a massive war with it, and create something about that, instead of this fictitious Black art thing that you're just saying because it
I don't
sounds
think it's just particular to drill music, but I get what you're saying.
no, right, right, right,
Kind of
right, right,
music, yeah.
right. But I'm saying it because that seems like it's under attack as well, where you have, the mayor of New York saying that he's about to ban it off radio. You have certain DJs like I think it's DJ Drewski in New York, where he's not playing it at all because he's watching certain things play out in the New York drill music
Well,
scene.
it's not really drill music. He said he's not gonna play violent music.
Okay.
Because the drill music is a style, but everybody's not, it's just like a sound. But
Right.
everybody's not talking about violence and stuff in the music. But Drew said he wasn't gonna play anything violent, which I really respect that,
Yeah.
He's picking a side.
But I was going to say, in Gunna's case, I do personally feel bad for him, but this goes back to, the term guilt by association. And, one of the things that our parents always say is be careful of the company you keep and who you're with. So, he is unfortunately very tied into this. We don't know what he knew or did not know. And again, with Rico, it's about the association. So,
I hate that though.
Personally feel bad for him. But at the same time, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I didn't necessarily do anything, but I'm involved in the syndicate that I know are doing these very violent, dangerous things, and I don't do anything about it. If I should not be prosecuted because I'm still benefiting off of the syndicate. You know what I mean? Like, you're still, yes, you're out here doing this out here, but the way that it works in terms of like the money and money laundering and why they like look at it like the RICO is you're benefiting off of these. So again, and I don't know what he did or didn't know. I do, again, personally just feel bad for him if he didn't. Doesn't look like he did much because he wasn't charged with that. But again, I don't know. They don't have enough evidence to charge him with something else. So.
Yeah, I mean, I that kind of hits a nerve for me because, growing up, I hung out with certain people that did certain things, but I didn't do those things, and I would hate to have to, have to be penalized for something that I did not do. That's your life. You do that if you want. It doesn't mean that I have to do it. You're you and I'm me. When you do what you're doing, I'll be like, all right, y'all, peace. I'm out because this isn't really the type time I'm on. But I mean, when you grow up in certain neighborhoods, it's kind of inevitable for you to be around certain people doing shady things. I mean, someone's doing something, stealing cable, like someone's like stealing Netflix, stealing cable, like stealing power. Someone was stealing like a light. I was talking to someone the other day who said they was getting free light. For someone got food stamps. Like in certain neighborhoods, like you're gonna run into or know people who are just doing questionable things. My mother would never do any of those things. She would never take a cent for free or scam anybody, or you know what I'm saying? And that's how we were raised in that household, but people are raised differently, and I shouldn't be held accountable because you're committing fraud with food stamps.
Like it's also the law. Like
that's that person. Like I'm not eating the food.
They didn't commit a crime, but they knew who did it. They saw who did it, and they didn't say anything. And they said to him, like, listen, do you want to say something? Because we know you didn't actually.
Dana, if you go around saying every crime you witness, you be at the police station every day.
It's on the level of the crime. And when they say to you, we know you didn't do it. We just need you to say it.
I seen somebody walking a raccoon yesterday on a leash. Am I supposed to go to the SPCA and say this crazy is walking a raccoon on a leash?
Crime. He might be saving that raccoon life.
I was like, is that a raccoon?
Hold on, that's a real thing you're talking about?
I swear to you, I saw this man carrying a raccoon in Philadelphia.
This was in Kensington, wasn't it?
It was near Aramingo. So in Philadelphia.
No, I just know Kensington is wild. That's a third world country right there.
Look, this guy was, and I'm like, is that guy holding a raccoon like in his hand, like a puppy? And I'm like, there's no way that man's holding a raccoon. I was like, they're wild. They'll bite you. They'll give you rabies, right? Yo, then he puts the raccoon down and it's on a leash and it's hobbling. And I'm like, that's a raccoon. That's the only reason I realized it was a real raccoon, because a dog walks excuse me, raccoons, they kind of hobble a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I was like, this man has a pet raccoon
He nurtured it, loved
that
it.
he has on a leash.
He's gangster.
So it's like every day you witness crazy, bizarre things. Like, am I supposed to be calling the cops every time I see something bizarre and crazy? Like,
Yes, because I am. I'm like telling y'all, those are no crimes around me. Because I'm like, listen, I don't want to say nothing about it.
we'll see what happens, man, because Gunna swears up and down he's innocent, and the fact that they only charged him with RICO means that he's just being charged for these things because of his affiliations.
Mhm.
And that would be a travesty, because if we were all held accountable for things that our affiliates did, all of us would be in trouble at some point in our lives. Someone's doing an illegal drug. Someone's drinking under the age of 21. Someone's beating somebody up. Your assault. Like, it's like everything is a crime. These are the environments we live in, right? Like, oh, you beat so and so up, you got in a fight at the club, that's an assault charge. Oh, you ain't paid for your food. Oh, that's theft. Like, it's hard. It's a hard thing. Oh, you got food stamps and you don't need it. That's fraud. Like, oh, you stealing cable. That's theft.
I'm still cable. Let me know, because
Oh, you sharing Netflix.
Now.
Oh, you got USAA. You ain't in the military. That's fraud. Like, everything. Oh, you lied about how much money you made, so you paying less for insurance. That's fraud. Like, everything. It's a slippery slope, man. We'll see, though. We shall see.
Wish him the best of luck.
Yeah, I don't know if this petition is going to do. That's another thing. A petition ain't going to change a law. If you really want something to be changed, you got to advocate for a law to be passed, not get change.org. But it's a movement, and I guess it's helping in, I mean, the stuff Meek Mill has said in his lyrics. I mean, if they was putting people away for lyrics, Meek would be in jail. So it's like, he's one of those people who's probably like, nah, this isn't cool. It depends on what kind of music you're making. I'll tell you one thing, Carrie Underwood would be in jail. Talking about, what she said? I took my key to his car. She keyed that man's car. She busted his window. She flattened his tires. That's vandalism, Carrie Underwood. You going to jail.
I know evidence of Carrie busting somebody out. And they probably had to look at the credits like, she didn't even write this song.
I dug my key into the side. All the music got stuff in it. All right, y'all. That's the 225th episode of the Mina's House podcast. Thank you for listening and watching. I'm Mina. Say what?
I'm Shayna B.
Garnett Briscoe.
Damn, Dexter never showed up. Next week, Dexter will be here. Hopefully, all right. We'll talk to you then. Happy Father's Day. Happy Juneteenth.